It's the 21st of Ellul. I spoke in Shul on Shabbat about how we should acknowledge our accomplishments. I think we have to realize that we have achieved so much. But yet, as long as we're alive, there is always room for some improvement. But however, there is still room for improvement. We have to realize that what we've already achieved has some considerable value. I think the worst state of mind that we can actually get into is to feel totally dejected and dissatisfied with what we've done. Because that way we don't rejoice in our service of Hashem. We don't have simcha in our service of Hashem, which again, as I have mentioned in the past few days, is so important. If you feel dejected, if you feel unmotivated, then you lack a drive to serve Hashem properly, to achieve the immense amounts that you can achieve and return to Hashem. I came across a very interesting story about Rav Shach Zecher Tzadik Livrocha. Rav Shach was a leader of Torah Jewry in Israel, and he lived till he was over 100 years old. Now, a number of years ago, Rav Shach was in hospital with a dangerous medical condition that threatened his life. And he had no choice, no option, but to undertake an operation to save his life. And while he was undergoing that operation, Jews across the world of all types, all persuasions, davened for the success of the surgery. Baruch Hashem, their prayers were answered, and Rav Shach lived for 30 more years after the successful operation. Now, while he was recovering from the operation, the entire hospital staff, without exception, devoted themselves to his every need. But there was one nurse who was apparently particularly dedicated to Rav Shach. She went above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that Rav Shach's needs were met, even showing up at his bedside when she wasn't on duty to make sure that everything possible could be done for him. And finally, when he was released from hospital, she personally carried his bags to the car to take him home. When the time came for Rav Shach to bid farewell to this devoted nurse, Rav Shach spoke to her and said, "I'd like to give you a gift that will remain with you for many years to come. My gift to you is the following advice. I notice that you smoke cigarettes, and I want you to be aware that smoking is highly damaging to a person and that it's not worth your while to continue this habit." And he spent the next 15 minutes explaining the harmful effects of smoking until the nurse was finally convinced and promised that she would quit, she'd give up. When Rav Shach saw that the nurse had actually taken his advice, he said, "Now I see that I've given you a gift of great value." And with that, he entered the car and signaled to the driver to take him home. During the drive home, Rav Shach explained what he'd done and why he'd done it to his companions. He said, "I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to this woman. In reality, the greatest gift I could have given her would be to persuade her to become religious. However, I knew that she would never ever listen to me. When I saw that she smoked cigarettes, I realized that she probably smokes on Shabbos as well. So again, if I'd asked her not to smoke on Shabbos, she wouldn't have listened to me. She would have dismissed the idea as complete religious nonsense. So once I convinced her to stop smoking for the sake of her health, she's bound to refrain from smoking on Shabbos as well. Therefore, I've truly done a great favor for her." True, he said, she'll probably continue breaking Shabbat in many other ways. She'll still drive on Shabbat. She'll still turn on lights, etc. But even if she was to smoke one fewer cigarette on Shabbos, it will be a tremendous gain. Think about that. A tremendous gain to have one fewer cigarette smoked on Shabbat. And that attitude of Rav Shach, I think, is something we can all take on board. We can take that and consider it for every single good deed that we perform over the course of our lives. We must relate to every single positive action we do, however small, however insignificant it seems, and realize that it is an accomplishment of tremendous magnitude. And when we go before Hashem on the Yom Hadin, we should know that we have got positives on our side to help balance those scales. I wish you a really good day and a really good week.